Hello everyone. So I'm back to do another, this one will be quick I think. I want to check in and see if the Affordable Health Care Act be extended. They're supposed to come back on the 6th, on Tuesday the 6th. Hakeem Jeffries is saying that the Dems will call a vote to extend. Actually, I guess it would be a debate first, and he's going to try and get it extended for 3 years. So will they come in next week? Or maybe I should just kind of be a little loosey-goosey with the date there, let's focus in on whether or not it'll pass. Will they successfully pass the Affordable Care Act and get it extended? Okay, so with the moon, wow. Yeah, it's the full moon right now, that's for damn sure. That's all I have to say about that right now. Yeah, there's the goal. Okay. It might be that this is, like the next, going into the new moon, the next cycle, which would be the new moon, the next new moon would be 2 weeks. But let's see. Okay. So the deal is that it has to get passed, even if Mike Johnson, probably this is him that's going to block it. But even if it did get past the House, and even if it did go through the Senate, it still has to go through the House, Senate, and then Trump's desk. And now, I'm remembering what I've gotten before about this whole thing where, I don't want to say it while I'm trying to get some new information here. Okay, who's the woman? I don't know who that woman is, and is it Marjorie Taylor Greene? Because what I've seen in the past has been, what I didn't want to say, is that they don't pass it, and it's what gets Mike Johnson removed. Gloria's gotten that too. We both, independently of talking to each other, because that's how we roll. She does her meditation and channeling, and then I do my intention and just kind of sit with it, and then get to the cards when I get to them, and then we get whatever we get. But anyway, what we have going on here, here's the health. Okay, the issue, brain problems for Trump, but I think this is Mike Johnson, because he's doing Trump's bidding. Trump at all costs wants the Affordable Care Act gone because it has Obama's name on it. But you know what? They don't even have a plan, right? And Mike Johnson down here is not in a position of control. And he's moving towards an obstacle. And we could say that Marjorie Taylor Greene has been beating him up. She's been going out and online and all over, anywhere she can get her message out, and saying, hey, there are elderly people. She's been minimizing him. She's been speaking about, she's been committed to speaking out about him, or about the whole, like, how dare you, how can you do this, how can you, what about, oh yeah, right here, what about the children, what about the elderly, yeah, what about the Americans? Here we are, our homeland. This would also be the house itself. Yeah, the movement is under the burden of what's his face, Elf on the Shelf. Thank you, Becca at House of Lenormand, for that name. So grateful to her always. Dude is stuck. Marjorie, I believe this is Marjorie Taylor Greene, who has more of a voice. She's got some power backing her up, but then she also has, well, maybe this is like even the state of California connections with, maybe she's trying to work up something with Gavin Newsom. Now, that's another thing too. I think it's Oregon as well, Oregon and Washington. California, Oregon, and Washington are trying to get their own healthcare initiatives going. You know, this would be writing up the letter of the law. Yeah, and that new commitment. So maybe Marjorie Taylor Greene is taking some power from her connections to see a peaceful way forward. Because we've got the anchor up here has to do with who she's tied to, what her goals are, who he's tied to, what his goals are. Neither in a very powerful position right now. It just doesn't look good. The House needs a new start to improve their goals. But they're so toxic. Mike Johnson is so toxic that I think he's going to have to go. He's going to wind up having to go and fly the coop. I don't have the scythe here showing him being removed like right away. This is just to see about the Affordable Health Care Act. I wasn't reading on him specifically. We could even say also that this is Trump, but then I don't see that this being Melania, so it doesn't make sense to me. This could be not one woman. This could be powerful women, powerful, protective women, banding together, connecting together to beat this crap down, to take action, to take legal action, to minimize Mikey Johnson. So I think that that's what's going on. I think this is showing the future of, what he's up against. Because I have gotten the scythe for him before. I have gotten those that he would be gone. The ship has to do with action in the context of this, because I'm not looking at foreign countries. And this has to do with the transactional, with the fish, transactional action that is behind Mike Johnson has him moving in a certain direction, and it's all because of Trump, because he's tied, to Trump. So he's under that burden. But with the Clover, I get the feeling he's doubly burdened under the needs of the health care of Americans, and especially children. And Yeah, because people are going to be having to make decisions between, you know, shelter, and food to take care of their children, right? And and this is all weighing down on him. All of these cards are weighing down on not only Mike Johnson but Trump, because we all know that he's just doing his deeds. So, but it doesn't look good because it looks blocked. It looks like Mike Johnson is going to block it. Yeah. Let me use the Kipper real quick and see what I get there, because this looks like for this next week or so it's blocked. But let's look into a little bit of the future. And this is Cheryl Marchetti's Kipper. So, what is the future of the Affordable Health Care Act, the ACA? If I take it out some further into time for Americans, and I'll treat this as my weekly reading for us Americans. I think, unless I get time, I might be able to do another separate one. But this one's, this is important, right? And they don't have any plans at all. The Republicans don't have any plans. Okay, there's the working on the plan. Let me down a little bit. These cards are smaller, I think a little harder to see. Okay, so there's the work. Women in Congress. Seeing the bigger picture. Meeting. Oh, goodness. Okay, so this is an important woman in Congress. That's interesting. There are several of them. Oops, looks like I brought it down a little too far. Probably should have just left it where. Oops, come on. There, that's good enough. What ifs? Yeah, lots of complaints. People worried about, this is too painful of a loss for Americans, right? There's the betrayal. Where's the strategy? Okay, and here's the house. Okay, so what we have going on here is pregnant women wanting to become pregnant, women expecting to be having some semblance of safety and choice and safety, feel betrayed, and are watching and feeling helpless and hopeless and like, oh my goodness, and especially young women of childbearing age, and they will be complaining. Because if they can't have insurance for themselves and their children, what do they do? Here we are with the pregnancy cards tying together here, and young women. This would be complaining coming before. I would think going to their state's reps. And maybe the main female card here is just holding space for the fact that there are so many women on the planet that are in the country, complaining about this major distraction that's going on within the reputation of this administration, and they're feeling kind of just like hung out to dry, like this hope and vision for a brighter future just keeps ending, and there's such a painful loss. That's what I'm getting there. And then they're feeling betrayed by this strategy of a government to just grift and take and take and take and take and fill their coffers. And what are they doing for the people? As far as timing, I think what this is going to take are people. So what's coming into the future here is people who are going to have to pull the wool off of people's eyes and speak up and go to their reps, their House reps and senators, and locally in their counties and counties, their states and in their counties, and complain and complain and complain, and create a painful situation for those people who are working. They're supposed to be protecting their constituents, and they are the ones that have the power to take, because they can, what's his face, Elf on the Shelf, little Mikey with no real Johnson, is he can be taken out with a vote of no confidence and bring in new energy that stops stealing from women, stealing from the people. Nobody wants this. There aren't any Americans that want this. There aren't barely any Americans that want Project 2025 or 2026. They don't want anything that this administration is pushing out. So in the future, now it's going to take some time, but we have the mature women in Congress and in the House especially, but this would be the entire, all of the women that come together loyally and you have a pact, have a bond within Congress to get people out of despair. And to, because one thing that's also happening is people are being taken from they're losing their jobs in healthcare, right? Hospitals will close. People won't feel safe getting pregnant without women and having new children come in. How does a country grow? Meanwhile, you've got, the likes of Peter Thiel and Curtis Yarvin and Ellison, all these, well, I don't know so much about Ellison, maybe, thinking that they don't, the population needs to be thinned out. Now, I don't know that Elon Musk feels that way because he wants people to put his neural plant, Neuralink, whatever bullshit in their heads to test all that out. And, I think he's got 13 kids of his own, so I doubt that he has that same belief, but he's still knucking futs. So anyway, it's the AI. This is our card up here for automation. AI is going to create so much job loss. See this card up, it says not hiring. That's because there's no jobs to be given out. This is what AI is creating, right? This is the data farms taking the water, raping the land, the AI, and here's what the Trump administration is all about, is this AI deregulation. And those were the donors to the ballroom were those donations to to give him the money for the ballroom that probably will never be built is it was just to get the deregulation. Isn't that sick? And it poses a national security threat. It poses this all turns into, like cybercriming and losses, the joblessness and all of that. It's all right here. Here's the cause of that. And yeah, they might have had their meetings way out into the trying to plan for the future, but this is their reputation. And then over time, it looks to me like it's the mature women, the women who care about families, that will wind up always having the power. But it's going to take some time. There's going to be this development that goes back and forth, back and forth. And I just, I hate that there's this painful transition. It looks to me, and I hope I'm wrong. I could be wrong, you guys. I could be so wrong, but it looks to me, based on these cards. I mean, I always have to go to the detached place when I'm shuffling. That's why I exhale a lot and ground, and I take time shuffling. It's because I have to let go of what I want. I have to trying to get to the truth. But if I'm wrong, then it won't take so long. But because we have this pathway card here, this is our card, when it comes to timing, it can be 1 to 2 years. We can't go 1 to 2 years without, shifting the paradigm to have some type of health care. But this is what they want. We're seeing here what these oligarchs want. They want control over women and their reproduction. They want women helpless, barefoot, and pregnant, but mortality rates are down. And some of them don't want. Some of them hate women and I don't have any judgment over being gay, but if you're gay just because you hate women and you don't want them reproducing, that falls into the line of, some of them, like I'm thinking Peter Thiel, right? There's something wrong with that guy. And then he's hell-bent on, like, the Antichrist. Like, whatever, dude, can we just let people have their own beliefs and you just fuck off? Please. God, just go away. So they're hell-bent on distracting the power of the feminine. But after this, it looks to me like after this period of time goes by, we can have our strength back. But there's still this looming, AI, job loss, that we're going to have to work. There's steps before. So just focusing in on just the Affordable Health Care Act being extended, it doesn't look like it for a while. Okay, I guess I'll just get this uploaded and we'll see how it goes. Next week I think is going to be pivotal. And then we get to the end of the month when January 26th, when Neptune moves into Aries. And people who've been under the cloud of the Trump cult will be waking up and going, what? What? The hospital closed over there? What if, and people the people that voted for him, that are now sorry are going to be really sorry, because they can see it coming. People that couldn't see it coming, people who've been kind of checked out and doing whatever, there's going to be some challenges. So, yeah. I'm sorry, I can't get anything more out of this one for now. But things can shift and I can read on it later. Okay, take good care. Bye.